Thank you, Moses. So I'm Stephanie Wolf, and I am the training and development specialist with Indiana Furniture. I have been in the industry since the early 2000s. I started out as a designer at a dealer, so I've worked on your side of things. And in 2014, I made the switch over to the manufacturer side. So I've had some experience on this side of things as well. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. But I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit about some of the new products that we have introduced this year since NeoCon. So just a little background on Indiana Furniture. We have been in business for 115 years. So a long time in the business. And a lot of times people will still think of us as that very traditional office case goods manufacturer, but we really have made an effort over the last several years to really focus on bringing a lot more products to the market, a lot more relevant products that you need in order to sell it to your customers. So I think if you haven't taken a fresh look at Indiana Furniture in a while, you might be a little surprised by some of the things that you're going to see today. So with that, I'm going to jump in. We have introduced 7 new products just this year, actually just since NeoCon, so since June of this year. And it really runs the gamut. We've introduced seating as well as case goods, a table leg, and then screens and dividers to help with the protection of employees with COVID and everything that's going on. So we're going to start with our case good series. This is our brand new wood veneer case good series called Iconic. This product, really in the beginning, when the product development team was working on this, they were really striving to come up with a mid-century modern design aesthetic to bring to our clients. And the great thing about this product is as it evolved and as they continue to develop the product, it really is more than just a mid-century modern solution. Depending upon how you dress it, so to speak, it can be a modern aesthetic, it can be a very contemporary look, and we've even added in some elements where you can get an industrial look and feel for those clients who are looking for that type of aesthetic in their space. So some of the things that we did with this line that has been very well received in the market is a lot of the pieces resemble something that you would find in residential furniture. And that's been a big driver in our industry the last few years, where customers really want their offices to feel more residential or more homey. We spend a lot of time in our offices, so we want to be comfortable there. So you'll notice that a lot of the pieces really resemble that residential look and feel. We also did some really fun things with being able to add pops of color into the product, which really gives you so many options to make someone's office very unique. You could select a wood finish for the chassis and couple that with a laminate top for the work surfaces, and then a cabinet accent and a finger pull accent that maybe no one else will ever select again in that combination, to really make your customer's office very, very unique and one of a kind. So here we see that I've shown you a couple images of private office. There are also modular pieces within Iconic, so you can create an open plan or benching solution for that customer. So a lot of the storage pieces you'll find come in both the standard 70-inch height, which is more of your private office height, and then also down at that 50-inch height, which really allows you to have that open plan scenario available as well. Let's see. So I talked a little bit about being able to add those pops of color into the finger pull area. So this is showing you where this particular image has a fabric in the finger pull area that matches the seat of the task chair. So not only do we have some really fun solid color laminates that you can choose from, we've also opened it up to allow you to choose from pretty much any fabric that you can find to put in there as well. That could be a standard textile, it could be vinyl, it could be leather. So lots of options there to really make that product unique for your customer. Table desks with these fun modesty panels are also available. This modesty panel insert, again, just like the finger pulls, you can choose a solid color laminate, or you can choose one of any of the millions of fabrics or textiles that are out there on the market today. Do you have a customer who's like, I really kind of like that cut out, but I just want it to be the same color. I just want it to look like a cutout. No problem. We can make it the same color as the desk as well. That's not an issue. So lots and lots of options have been built into Iconic to really give your customer a lot of uniqueness to their office. I mentioned that there's a way to even make Iconic have more of an industrial kind of look. And here's an image that shows that. This is one of 3 new laminates that we introduced with Iconic. These are called 3D laminates. And the one you see on the screen here is concrete, and it really truly does have the look and feel of concrete. The other 2 colors that are available are a matte white and a matte black. And how those differ from our standard high pressure laminates in designer white and black is that they have a very different feel to them. They almost feel a little velvety, for lack of a better term. That's the best way I can explain it. But they also do not leave fingerprints behind, which is very nice, especially for those solid colors, because a lot of times those can leave a lot of fingerprints and you feel like your desk is always a bit of a mess. So those are a great option. They also are a unique laminate in that they wrap around the edge, like you can see here in this image. So you do not have a solid color edge going with a really cool top that kind of pulls away from it. That material is going to wrap around the entire edge. So this one in particular really truly does look like a piece of poured concrete. And then this is also a new edge that was introduced with Iconic. So Iconic comes in your, what you know today as square and knife, but it also comes in this really cool illusion profile. So this is a really neat line to it. Kind of looks like it's disappearing in the middle. It is truly an illusion. It is the same thickness throughout. It's just the way that that edge is cut into the work surface itself that gives it that really unique kind of look to it.
Excuse me, Steph.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention to the team here, just keep in mind that if you were to get in front of end user or your A&D, and if you were to spec this product, I might be wrong, but I haven't seen anything like this on the market. And if you guys were to spec it out, it's probably, you have a really good chance of winning because, no one can really match this.
Yes, it is very unique in that way, the way that it's designed, and then of course all the options that are available with it. So so I talked a little bit about private offices as well as like open and benching areas, but another really cool thing about this line is we introduced a lot of storage pieces within it. So there are many pieces that can be utilized in conference areas or open spaces. And because it's a full veneer case goods line, you can use these pieces to float in rooms too as dividers. So there's some pieces that can be used specifically to divide spaces, and I'll show you one of those here in just a couple of slides. But what I'd like to mention on this slide is there are also a lot of low storage options. So remember, we have those component cushions available. So you can really utilize those low storage units, not only for storage, clearly, but also as a place for someone to be able to sit for a quick meeting, or if they're just doing some quick research, maybe right there in that space. there's a place to land for just a few minutes. So don't forget about those component cushions. They really add a little something to every single space where they are put into. And then these are those laminates that I've talked a little bit about. So those 3D laminates are there along the top, and then those HPL accent solid color laminates. The ones on the bottom row we've had in our line for a while. Those are more neutral colors, but the ones in the middle were added specifically with Iconic. They really do bring that mid-century modern feel in to play that we, again, started this whole project with in the very, very beginning. But some of those colors also really play nicely with your modern and your contemporary styles as well. So those cabinet accents or those HPL accents, where can they be used? So not only the finger pulls, which we talked about, and the modesty panels, they can also be used in open cabinets. So any of our pieces that have an open area can actually have those HPL laminates added. So this is a great image to show customers if they're not 100% sure what you're talking about. And these are available out on our website. So this kind of shows you on the left, this is artisan walnut. So the whole piece is done in artisan walnut. And then on the right, it's artisan walnut still as the main wood finish, but then it's been accented with the blush HPL, which is one of those new colors that were introduced. So you can really kind of help your customer visualize what it could look like if they chose to go with that accent within their piece. And this is one of the pieces that I was mentioning that is actually finished on all four sides. So you can utilize this up against a wall if you wanted to, or it can be used to float in a space, to divide areas like what you're seeing here. So it's a very versatile piece that is definitely just one of many of the pieces available in this line. 150 SKUs is what we introduced when we launched it just a few months ago. And we only see it growing from there because it's already received a lot of accolades, including an award from one of the virtual neocons that we had this year, Chicago From Your Couch, which was hosted by My Resource Library. So we did receive an award within that virtual neocon for this product. So we're super proud of that. All right, so that's Iconic. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask as we move along. You won't bother me at all to ask your questions as we go. Or if you'd like to ask at the end, that's fine too, whatever you're comfortable with. All right, so next up we have Strut. So Strut is a metal table leg. It's available on several of our table series, including Aura, Canvas, Gesso, Try One. It's not available as a standard on our more traditional products because it's more of a modern aesthetic. So it doesn't really tie into that look. It would look a little out of place. So it's not available on those tables as a standard, but if you ever had a situation where you needed like a specific edge detail, but you needed this leg, we can certainly do that as a custom. We do a lot of customs. We're really good at doing customs at Indiana Furniture, so keep that in mind. So these legs are available in both black and silver. And the really cool thing about them is that every single leg comes with a removable panel so that you can route your wires down to the floor. So if you power up the top of this table, you have a place to route your wires down at any of those given points. So you have 6 locations where you could run that to the floor depending upon where your floor monument is. You can also use the strut leg. Again, you've got a customer looking for that more industrial kind of look. You can add the strut leg to a canvas or gesso work surface, and it instantly gives you a little bit more of that industrial kind of look and feel to this office. So you won't find strut like out on the website on its own page because it is a leg that is used with a table. So it's going to be treated like any leg. So if it's available on the table that you're looking at, it will be listed in the price list as one of the options that you can choose for that specific table. So that's how you'll know if a strut leg is available on the table that you're working with. Okay, so that's strut. So next up, we have a new lounge series. So this is one of two lounge series within this particular line. So we have 15 is the name of the series, and there's 15 lounge, and then there's 15 pods. So we're going to look at 15 lounge first. So as you can see here, it is available in contrasting finishes. There are high back options as well as low back options. Most of these on the screen right now are showing you where you can make round or very curved seating units. You can also make more linear pieces, linear setups with it, as those pieces are available as well. There is an option to do booths within this line, which is really cool. So for instance, here, this is more of like a dining kind of scenario that you're seeing here, but you could also add to those panels that are running along the wall that are actually connected to the seating units. You could specify a television mount. So then all of a sudden it becomes a small meeting space. So that's very, very helpful to have that. Another thing we did with these to make it easier to get in and out of the booths is all of the booths have a tapered table design. So when you add that table, when you're specifying this product, it's always going to be tapered so that when people are trying to get in and out of those booths, it's going to be a whole lot easier for them to do so. Let's see. Another thing that you can do with this particular product is you can create these round scenarios around a column. Let me advance one more slide here. So I know back whenever I was doing design, columns were never where we needed them to be. They were always right in the way, never in the right space in a building. So this is a great way to add some seating to an area where maybe where a column is sort of in the way. It'll wrap up to a 20-inch diameter column. But even if you wanted to create one of these and you didn't have a column, we've also created a top cap that will set right down on top of all those backs that are meeting together at the top there to keep things from falling down behind or inside that area. So this scenario can be used with or without a column in your designs. And then 15 pods. So this is a very cool product in that it was built around the science of acoustics. So I thought that was really interesting when they were creating this. They actually worked with acoustical scientists to make sure that when someone is sitting inside the pod and just talking in a normal inside voice, it should encapsulate that. It's going to keep those noises inside the pod for them. And the noises that are happening outside the pod are going to be muffled, and you're going to be protected from those noises inside. So it really does have the acoustical properties. Now, I always tell people it's not the cone of silence, so it's not that great, but it really truly does muffle voices whenever you're inside the pod to let you be able to concentrate or have a private conversation when you need to. I thought this was interesting when I was learning about this product. That little gap that you see there at the top of the seat between the roof, I guess we'll call it, and the top of the back, that actually is there to help with the sound buffering. Believe it or not, by opening that up right there, it actually makes the acoustics better inside the pod itself. So I thought that was really interesting. I didn't even know there were people that did acoustical science. I wasn't even sure that that was a thing until we started learning about this product. So it's very cool. Just like the booths, you can create a booth scenario with the pods. You could add a television mount to this panel that you're seeing here as well. The pods are available in 1-seat, 2-seat, and 3-seat options. So when we were looking at the competitive information to see like who's our competitor for this product, first of all, I'll tell you there's not a lot. There's not a lot of competition out there with this type of product. Secondly, we were unable to find anyone who had a 3-seat model. Everyone either had a 1 or a 2-seat model. So a 3-seat model is an advantage, especially if you're trying to lock in a spec. And then the other thing is that it is the only one that we've been able to see or to find, to compare, that isn't completely enclosed, but still has those acoustical properties. Many of them will have like a wood or some sort of plastic material as the roof line, but it doesn't really have the acoustical properties that this product has. All of the 15, whether it's lounge or pods, can be powered up. So every single model within both of those series can have power. So we know you need the power everywhere. It can all be powered up, and that's just easy to spec right into the units themselves. And then this image just kind of shows you the line of that pod. So as you can see here, it's sort of got an angled roof on it. So when 2 units are backed up to one another, it's going to have that really cool design at the top where it's sort of a sloping roof line. So this is a cool product. We're really excited about it. It's getting a lot of buzz in the industry as well, especially with so many people looking for ways to outfit their spaces with the protection that we want because of COVID and all of that that's going on right now. Another new lounge product that we introduced is Runna. So Runna is a poof. It's a pretty simple line. It's 2 poofs. It's a small and a large. But the really cool thing about the large is the size of it. It is 50 inches in diameter, so a little over 4 feet round. So when you need a really large statement piece, or you have a very large space to fill with seating, this is a great solution for those large spaces. It can also be used as a table, and as well as a poof for someone to sit on. So keep that in mind when you're looking at those ancillary pieces for areas. Next up, we have a new task chair. This is the Rockstar chair. So if you're familiar with our task chairs that we have today, the Clutch and the Joy, this is very similar to those chairs in that you're going to have very similar arm options as well as caster and base options. But the cool thing about Rockstar is that there is a brand new mechanism available with it, and it's weight activated. So there's not going to be a lot of knobs and levers going on underneath the seat. So it's going to have a really clean aesthetic under there. And the other thing is, because it's weight activated, people of all sizes can sit in this chair, and it's just automatically going to conform to their body weight in order to be the right comfort for them. So we have an engineer on our staff that's about 6'5", and then we have a gal in my department in marketing who's about 5'1", and they both have tried this chair out and both find it very comfortable with that weight activated mechanism, not having to make any adjustments. So that's a brand new mechanism for us. So keep that in mind. This chair comes with or without the button. You can see there the options with or without the button. And that button, you can do a lot of things with that. It can match the chair. If you did a contrasting fabric, like you're seeing on a couple of these, you could have the button match the seat and then have a different fabric on the back. Or we also have 5 sort of like pre-selected buttons in neutral colors. So if you just need a black button or a white button, you can just select that, and you don't have to find the fabric to do it. It's just automatically going to be taken care of for you in our upholstery plant. So those are all options with Rockstar. It also has this really sleek cantilever arm. It's available in both a silver and a black finish, so you can tie that in with whichever base you're looking at for this particular chair. And there it's shown with that strut leg, and it really looks good with that strut table as well. All right. And then the last new product that we introduced, and this one happened very, very quickly. And again, it was in response to COVID. We were getting a lot of calls and questions about screens and dividers. People needed to be able to protect their employees and figure out a way to do that. So we introduced several new options. And with that, we also took all of our screens and dividers that we already had in our line, grouped them together with the new ones, and put everything in one place out on our website, one price list. And then there's also a brochure out there that kind of shows all the different options. A couple of things that we did that we added is the one you see here, it has the transaction slot in it. So for someone who needs to be able to pass things back and forth between the employee and the customer, you have that ability. You can see there that those mounting plates that are sitting on the top of the transaction counter, holding that acrylic in place. We made the decision to attach those with a heavy duty adhesive instead of a screw-in application. And that's just so that whenever, hopefully these can come down, the transaction counters, the desks, the tables, whatever the case may be, they're not going to be defaced by screws that were holding those in place for this time period that we're in the pandemic. They are very strong though. That adhesive is on there pretty good. So when it's time to come off, they're going to need a little elbow grease and maybe some adhesive remover to get that off. So they are going to stand there very nicely. They're not going to be easily knocked down, but they are held on with that adhesive, and they are at a really good price point as well for those customers who really need that protection for their employees. We also have the ones that attach to the work surface themselves. They go above and below. Those were already part of our line. But again, everything that's considered a screen or divider is now in one place, one price list for you guys out on our website on that product page. This one here is completely mobile. It comes with little acrylic stands on either side, depending upon the length of it. But it's 2 feet tall. So I think they go up to 66 wide, down to 24 wide, 24 tall. But these are available in both clear and frosted. So if you have a customer looking for that frosted solution, we do have those as well. And then gallery screens, the gallery screen or the picture that you see there at the top left, if you have any customers who already have Canvas or Gesso gallery screens, or if they want to add those, that's perfectly fine too. But we've now made it so that there is a retrofit option, so that if you need to add the acrylic to the top to get that additional height of protection between employees, that is now available as well. So there's a brochure out there that's really helpful to show customers, to kind of give them ideas as to what you can do to offer that extra protection for them. So check that out. And then the last thing I'm going to mention is, I understand you guys do a lot of GSA, and traditional furniture may come up on those sometimes. I know the government is our biggest traditional office furniture customer for sure. But we just recently enhanced our Arlington series. So we have merged together the Arlington and Wilmington series. And that's done a couple of things. Number one, it allowed us to lower the price of Wilmington. So any Wilmington projects will now come in at a lower price point, which that's a great thing for you guys. It also allowed us to be able to offer more options within that product line. So now, when you're looking at specifying the Arlington or the Wilmington aesthetic, you choose your desk, and then you choose your either Arlington or Wilmington base and molding options. So you don't have to go to 2 different price lists now. You just tell us which base, which molding you want us to put on there, and then it all comes together nicely on the production side of things. We got rid of some models that were no longer selling, just they were kind of outdated. And then we were able to add in some models that have been requested from customers in the past as customs. We've made them our standard product line now. So all of these enhancements just happened with Arlington. Actually, November 30th is when all of this went into our product line. So if you're looking for that traditional product for your GSA customer or for just any customer, just know that that is available out there under the Arlington product page now. And then the last thing I'll mention is we are 100% on CET Designer now. So if you are using CET, or if any of the designers that you work with are using CET, our entire catalog is now available on that platform. If they're not using CET, that's okay. We're still going to continue to support all of the other specification platforms that are out there: CAP, Giza, Project Matrix, all the ones that we support today, we're going to continue to support. So, all right, so that's everything. Does anyone have any questions?